Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Excuse my hair, I just woke up. So what I wanted to go over today is pretty much essentials for what you'll need or what you can look for, as a basis when you're looking at swap meets. A couple people are asking, like, what do you look for when you go to swap meets? And how do you know what you're looking for when you go to swap meets? Well, let's go over some basic things. It's just going to be me walking around, pointing out parts, talking about shit, this and that. So, first off, any kind of name brand carburetor, like Holley, even old AFB Carters, let's see here, Edelbrock's, old AFB Carters, Holleys, and if you find Webers, if you find some updraft Webers, some people still use that. If you're into more like the European classic car scene, Weber updrafts, Weber carburetors are still very popular for people to reuse. Another thing that I do is, hubcaps. What am I doing? Hang on, getting off track. Sorry. But with the name brand carburetors, there's always, most of the times, unless you get like a teacup Holley or something weird, then you just need to find carburetors that multiple platforms can use. So 4 barrels, which everyone loves, a 4-barrel Holley, or Edelbrock's, stuff like that. So it can be used on multiple platforms. You have to think, what can I sell this to, or who can I sell this to? And with a carburetor, you can sell it to anybody with a 4-barrel intake manifold. I believe, yeah, for most Holleys and most Edelbrocks nowadays. Before we go to hubcaps, intake manifolds. I know the LS is hot now and everything like that. It's been hot for a couple years now. But small block Chevy intakes, I don't think I have one laying around. If I see, unfortunately, with a lot of things going on with the crack house, and if you haven't seen that video, it's about a house I'm refabbing that a bunch of drug lords owned. But as you can see, there's supposed to be 3 engines over there. I think you can see the valve cover of 1 right there. That's actually the engine for the red S10 that I own. But there's probably a Chevy intake manifold over there. Just, people are still doing, not everyone's doing the LS or the Coyote or the Hellcat swaps. So there's still a market for used, there's still a market for used 302, 351 Fords, 350, 305 Chevys, and I'm saying those numbers, but they mostly are the same intake for the platform. So you can sell, and Ford guys are going to rip me if I say the wrong thing, but even with 318s, 360s, 340s, those Chrysler engines, you can buy intake manifolds for those. Be careful though, because when you buy 318 ones, they are smaller port and they don't flow as well as the other intakes. Another thing, sorry. If you have project vehicles that you're working on, like Project Shelly, which is not here right now, like, for instance, buy in bulk. It helps you in the long run. Like, there are some good driver quality taillights that I purchased for, originally the guy wanted $20 a piece. I bought the whole box for $100. So there's 11 lights in there. And then hubcaps I got for free because they were all banged up. But to hubcaps. So hubcaps, they are kind of a thing of the past, but some people still like to have like the Chevy center rallies for their Corvettes, their S10s. Like, there's a set, spider, go away. There's a set on almost, like, they still exist. They still are used. Sorry, I'm very, brain's dead. It's not wanting to compute today. So even just like this, like, these are decent ones. I picked these up for $10 a piece, and I could definitely resell them for something. They're not banged up. There's a little bit of scale on them, but a little touch-up paint, a little time in the tank of death, which is the vinegar bin, and that thing needs to be changed because it was clear. That's what happens when you soak intake manifolds. What else? Tools. If you find old vintage tools, like, some people are just trying to get rid of them, selling them for $1 or so. Like, the biggest tools that I could tell you that you can have when it comes to a swap meet, just to buy, sell, Make sure you're not getting screwed, to check everything. The biggest #1 thing is knowledge. You need to know what you're buying. You need to know what you're looking for, and you need to know what the price range is. You don't know what your price range is? Well, then you can use the second tool, which everybody almost has. Your cell phone. You can find any part number on the internet nowadays. It's so nice compared to me, where I had to go, you know, I was in the internet age, but I still had to go up to old timers and go, hey, what's the 1406 compared to the 1407 Edelbrock? And just boom, they would know. Or shit, 4207. What the fuck is this one? Crap. But hang on, I'm not gonna let this beat me. Okay, maybe I am. Fuck it. But just, you can tell by just, you have to know what you're buying. Like, I bought this thing dirt cheap. Turns out it's a 750 CFM Holley. It is missing the air flap, which doesn't matter. I can just mill that down and make it all nice and racy, you know, pretty. Just, when you're buying stuff, and I can go over this more and more elaborate stuff, but my brain is kind of right now. But yeah, more hubcaps. Ta-da. But that's the method of my madness, is that you need to know what you're buying. You need to know the price range of what you're buying if you're going to resell, because no one likes to lose money. You need to know what the market is. That's another one, is that you can just go on Facebook Marketplace. You can go on Craigslist, which is dying off, at least in my part of the state. But you just need to know what you're doing, know what you're selling, and know what you're buying. Pretty simple. Knowledge is power, and it doesn't change when it comes to swap meets. So this is the hoarder's guide to swap meets. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Don't let the shit going around get you down. You guys have a great weekend. See ya.